fever. And the only prescription is more cowbell.
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
All right, guys. I was 2 minutes late because I literally just finished a video for 5 o'clock. So there's that. So if you guys decide to become members today, there's already a video waiting for you. This is going to be another one that I've been sitting on for a hot second. I think I'm going to use this week to just clear my schedule of videos that I've been sitting on the back burner for a week or two. This is going to be that guy, I want to say Washington. Let me look up where Thurston County is. I want to say it's Washington. Thurston County, Washington. Yes, I was correct. Thurston County, Washington. This guy's crazy. Or I believe he's crazy. Let me pull this up and we'll get started. Window, entire screen. Also share audio. Share. There we go. Let me see if I can throw myself on the top. There we go. And make myself a little bigger. There we go. All right. Here we go, folks.
So that's what I'm going to do, because I'm not going to participate in an unfair hearing where there's no jurisdiction. I will file another motion.
Final comments here, because we got to move on. All right. Next, we have Leonard Blatt. Morning, Mr. Blatt.
Morning. Pleasure to be here.
Mr. Blatt, you filed various motions to dismiss the driving with suspended license third degree against you. I've read all of it. We are getting kind of late in the morning here. Is there anything you'd like to say that is different from what, or that you'd like to highlight from the motions that you filed?
Well, first, may I ask the court to identify yourself and the prosecutor?
Certainly. I'm Court Commissioner Jacob Stillwell. And
Prosecutor today is Ford Libby, Rule 9, supervised by Rosemary Fitzgerald.
Okay. Yes.
And just if you guys are wondering, this is Sprite with Blackberry Jack. So yes, we're drinking at noon 30.
When the officer stopped me, he asked me for paperwork and simply accused me of a paperwork violation. He asked for three things: license, proof of insurance, and registration. Anyone who's engaged in a potentially hazardous activity like operating a motor vehicle has to have his paperwork in order, especially insurance, because he caused damage with his car. Excuse me. Same thing is true with yourself, because being a judge is a potentially hazardous occupation because it involves violence. No one can be put in a jail cell without unwanted touching, and a lot of damage can come to people if
Yeah, so I'm glad old Squishy Gardner put this on screen. Same exact crap he raised in his last hearing. This guy will constantly just go and say the exact same thing every single hearing. Instead of addressing why everyone's there, why everyone's watching, no, he's just going to ask the court, oh, what can you identify the judge, the prosecutor? I think he tried to do the court clerk. Was it the court clerk or the stenographer the last time? And it's like, dude, just get your shit together. Yeah, Jonathan, I'm having 20-ish people over. I'm doing all the cooking. I have to do a turkey and a ham and like 112 different sides, a few desserts. That's why yesterday I streamed so I could paint one of my bathrooms. I had to rip all the wallpaper off and then paint it. I got all that done yesterday, and now I have to touch up some things in the kitchen. I was thinking about maybe streaming me pre-cooking tomorrow, but we shall see.
a judge does something wrong. And as a person who has been through a family court and witnessed how unprofessional and out of control the judiciary is here in Washington, and I think you know that the reputation of the legal system in Washington is very bad. I mean, even at one point, the federal government had to come in and supervise and babysit the police because they weren't being controlled.
So I'm going to just try to frame what I'm looking for. you, because again, I did read what you briefed, and so maybe it would be helpful if sort of I outline my thinking here. I'll give you a chance to respond. I'll give the chance for the city of Tumwater as well to weigh in here. But let me just kind of start where I'm at. That sounds good.
Sure.
Okay.
First off, member for 38 months is insane. It's just the same black guy. I just hadn't gotten a chance to watch it. I watched the beginning just to see, yep, it's that crazy guy again, but this is his most recent time in court. Yeah, cooking with KFAR might happen tomorrow, depending on how froggy I'm feeling.
All right, because I know a lot of your arguments are sort of based on sort of overall authority to enforce these laws against you. So I'll sort of start there. Right, the Revised Code of Washington, which is the state legal code that is applicable here to criminal offenses related to driver's license. It provides at RCW 46.342 that it's unlawful for anyone to drive a motor vehicle in the state while the person has a suspended or revoked driver's license. The allegations against you is that you were driving a motor vehicle on a public road with a suspended driver's license. And those are still allegations against you. That hasn't been proven. But the city of Tumwater is within its authority to pursue that prosecution because you were allegedly driving a car with a suspended license. And so I know you've raised a number of concerns around that. One of them being, right to travel. You have the right to travel. You don't have a right in any particular mode of travel. So driving a car does trigger certain legal requirements.
Excuse me. I've been in this court already, I think this is the 5th time, and each time I've heard the judge make the arguments that the prosecutor is supposed to make. In other words, the judge has been prosecuting. May I get back on track, because I was making a point. I was heading toward a point when you asked to interject.
Sure.
Okay, so I'm going to deflect from this case for a second to the case that we covered yesterday. The judge isn't going to allow you to even begin asking dumb, irrelevant questions or trying to make dumb, irrelevant points for the sake of time. If you're saying blah, 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 and the judge can just quickly say, hey, that's not accurate, you should probably move on. That's what the judge is doing. But this guy's, I just want to get into my script, man.
Okay, so we need to take care of some preliminary matters first. Just as I had to produce paperwork when an officer saw me, what he believed to be engaged in privileged activity, you need your paperwork in order too. And I just need to verify that your paperwork is in order. I am eager to argue my motions, and I'm eager to hear the prosecutor's response. But first, we need to know if you have your license to operate, which is your oath of office. That's analogous to a driver's license. It's because nobody has a right to be a judge. It's a privilege. And also your bond, your official bond through a surety company is analogous to insurance for a driver. Because if I'm injured in the course of these proceedings, I need to know that I can be compensated. So
you are welcome to file a public records request asking for any documentation around my authority as the court commissioner or anyone else in the.
Right, and I couldn't do that because I didn't know who would appear today as a judge. I mean, I asked before and I couldn't get a clear answer.
Just to point out, let me make myself large. Just to point this out, where I worked, we were a fairly large jurisdiction. I think we had like 4 judges. If this was really this concerning to him, he could just file a, public records request for all 4 judges. That way he would have them no matter who showed up. But instead, he just wants to use that as a way to bog down the system and complain and try to play victim. Hey, yo, Erica.
Also, your bond is supposed to be filed with the county clerk. And with your permission, I want to make it easy for you. Don't want to make you produce it for me. I could go around the corner to the same building here and verify that your bond is filed with sufficient sureties.
So we're not going to do that today for relevancy purposes here, because what's relevant here is not anything related to me. It's related to allegations against you driving.
It absolutely is relevant to you because it's all about whether you have jurisdiction, and you don't have jurisdiction without your oath of office timely filed and a bond with sufficient sureties. And I have a pocket brief here that I'll give you the court and a copy to the prosecutor to show you.
I'm gonna stop you again, and I don't mean to interrupt here, but
I believe this case is all about driving on a suspended, expired, whatever license. I think he's made it in 3 or 4 hearings. He's talked about it like one time. Every other hearing, it's going off on tangents about other people's authority, yada, yada, who other people are. We're 6 minutes into this 25-minute court case, and this guy has yet to bring up the fact that he was driving without a license. Oh, the pocket brief. Yeah, 1,000%.
But you have the opportunity to look at those documents. If you're able to find documents in any way, indicating that we don't have the proper authority or to operate as a court in this case, you're welcome to get those documents and present them. But we're not, during the course of the prosecution, going to chase down every indication without any supported evidence that something's amiss here. So if you have something through a public records request, you're able to bring it. But we're not going to chase down all of those arguments as they pop up. We're not going to play whack-a-mole necessarily with arguments being made without evidence.
So if I've told the officer who stopped me that I have a driver's license, I have insurance, trust me, it's your job to go look for it, not mine to produce it. What do you think he would have done?
Well, I don't know. I wasn't there.
Well, we all know what he would have done. He would have said that don't cut it.
So these are all comments that you made in the briefing. So
Also, legally, you have to require it, or you have to produce at a traffic stop license, registration, proof of insurance, if applicable. The court does not. The court is court. The fact that he's trying to compare the two is a bit ridiculous to me.
I'm going to, again, remind you, I've read those arguments that you made.
I'm going to give a copy of my pocket brief showing that the judge and prosecutor both require bonding and insurance. And with your permission.
And if you have evidence that there hasn't been proper bonding, you can certainly bring it.
Well, that's my evidence, my testimony here.
Right. Well, you're not alleging it hasn't happened.
I am alleging it hasn't happened.
Whatever.
I am alleging that.
Whatever.
With your permission, I'll give the court a copy of the pocket brief I just gave to the prosecutor.
Sure. But then I'm going to turn it over to the prosecutor to have an opportunity to respond.
Isn't it my turn to present my motions?
Yes, and you have, and you.
No, I have not.
You have. You provided written motions. You've been given some time to sort of summarize what your arguments are here. So we also want to hear from both sides.
I need to make a statement for the record so the appellate court can understand.
Well, it's 11:33. You got till 11:40. And I'm going to turn it over to the city time.
Well, if the prosecutor wants you to take 3 months out of my life, you have to give me enough time because the taxpayers are going to pay for this. You see, when the officer first stopped me, it was mistakenly thought that I would pay the $66 fine or however how much it is. But what's going to happen is the opposite. The plaintiff is going to house me, clothe me, feed me, take care of all my needs, medical needs and everything. And I'll get to watch television. I love to watch television. And I love to kick back and relax. And that's what's ultimately going to happen. But we're going to go through due process first. I won't be denied due process. So every district judge, this is RCW 3.34.080. Every district judge pro tempore, and district court commissioner shall, before entering upon the duties of office, take an oath to support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Washington. And as far as bonds, every judge of a municipal court, before entering upon the duties of office, shall take and subscribe the following oath or affirmation. I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Washington. The judge shall also give such bonds to the state and city for the faithful performance of the judge's duties as may be by law, ordinance, or directed. The prosecutor's bond, every county official before he or enters upon the duties of his or her office shall furnish a bond condition that he will faithfully perform the duties of his or her office. Prosecuting attorney shall file it in the amount of $5,000 with sureties to be approved by the proper county legislative authority. Tumwater police officers also have to have a bond, and that's RCW 35A.12.080. As far as, so it's very, very important. It's not just a joke or something that's not important. It's very important that you have an oath of office on file, because from what I've observed in this court and many, many courts throughout the last 40 years living in this state, that judges hate to follow the Constitution. They just...
A sovereign citizen telling someone else that they, don't follow the Constitution is kind of crazy to me. And again, we are more than halfway through this video. Halfway plus 20 through this video. And this guy has still yet to talk about why the fuck he's even here.
Despise it. So I need to ascertain that you have a timely filed oath of office. Now, I did make a public disclosure request for all the judges that might be operating in this court, and I have them here. I want to make sure your name is on it. I have an oath of office for a John Tunheim. It's not you, right?
Remind you to got till 11:40. It's 11:36.
What if it takes longer?
Because sir, I'm telling you again, I've read what you've written, and you're frankly not making arguments that are relevant to your prosecution. You're allowed to speak, but unless if you have evidence and if you have evidence there that you wanted to present to the court, you should look at it beforehand and then make an allegation.
I did.
Well, you're reading through the response to your Public Records Act.
You said I should make a public disclosure request for your oath of office and bond, and that's what I've done. And here I'm going through it.
Right. You should go through it before the hearing.
Well, I didn't know who you were until I just sat down here.
Well,
I didn't know who the prosecutor was.
Your Honor, I don't want to belabor the point, but just to make sure that we're being as effective as possible here, this just falls outside the scope of today's hearing.
I know.
No, it does not, because my brief addresses the importance of obeying the Constitution of the United States and the state of Washington.
And I can tell you,
I'm doing something important on my phone, so if you see me looking down, I'll tell you guys why I'm doing it in a second.
my oath of office, I took it a couple of weeks ago. Granted, I'm newer here, but I took it in this very room.
Well, I could not find it unless it's here, because I was given all the oaths of every judge that could possibly be working here. That's what I requested. I also have an oath of office for, it's John Tunham again. He gave me a few of them. As far as bonds,
just so you know.
As far as bonds, Joel L. Lapierre is supposed to have a bond. That's not you, though, right? What is your bonding number?
I don't know. Top of my head.
Okay, so before we can...
Okay, so what I was doing was, just for shits and giggles, I looked up how many judges are in the Thurston County District Court. So including this guy, there's 5. And I know for a fact, because I watched them, he's already dealt with 2 of them. I believe he's dealt with Buckley and Meyer. And then there's 2 more. Oh, actually, you know what? I think he may have dealt with 3 already. So the fact that this guy couldn't have just put in records for whoever he hasn't seen yet, means that he's a bit slow on the take.
Proceed, we have to take care of this preliminary matter.
That's not true.
Well,
You are welcome to bring evidence that I'm not a correct judicial officer for this, but again, we're not going to play whack-a-mole.
well, you're supposed to prove it to me,
That's
just
not
like
the
I was
case.
supposed to prove it to the officer that stopped me, that my paperwork was in order before engaging in a privileged activity.
I certainly believe that, but that's not the law.
You don't, can you cite the law then?
No, you're asking me to cite a law that doesn't exist. A judicial officer does not need to present their bonding number to every defendant.
But you need to have a bonding number, and we've determined that you don't. I requested the bonding information and the oaths of office of every judicial officer that could be working in this court, and they gave it to me all here, but your name doesn't appear to be on it.
Well,
That's prima
Is there-
facie evidence that you don't have an oath of office or bond.
Abby Normal, I believe that this guy's never going to go to trial. He's going to be in a infinite loop of what am I looking for? Pre-trial hearings for random motions he wants to file until the end of time. I'm going to be honest, he looks a bit older. So I think maybe 20 years he's going to go on about this, and we're never going to see the end. Personally, that's how I feel.
Okay, well, then you can file a motion on that specific question if you'd like, but you've got 2 more minutes for this morning.
Okay, I'd like to file that motion right now.
You don't have it. You got to go file a motion.
I can make a verbal motion. I can make it orally. Do you want me to find the RCW, the statute that allows me to make it orally?
Sure, and then you can go and you'd have to, well, I can't give you legal advice, but.
You gave me a lot of legal advice
I'm
today.
explaining what the law is.
The prosecutor said nary a word.
You got one more, well, because we've been giving you a chance to speak, and you've got 1 more minute before we're turning it over.
Well, I have to determine whether we have jurisdiction here.
No, that's not up to you.
Well, it's up to you, but you're not making a decision on it.
Because we do have jurisdiction. I'm telling you, I have an oath of office.
But that's not enough. Me telling the police officer I have a driver's license is not enough.
The allegations that you did not have a valid driver's license.
Yeah.
Here's the problem with this. If he says to the officer, trust me, bro, I have a license, registration, and proof of insurance, the officer can just look up his name. I don't know what system Thurston County uses. You can put in his name, hit search, and if he has a license, it'll pop up that it's valid. If he has insurance, registration, it'll pop up that it's valid. If not, it'll say expired, suspended, revoked, whatever. So it's not the same thing. It's just not. Yeah, I know who the real BS or the real one and the fake one. Well, I don't know who the fake one is, but I know how to identify that they're the other one.
A surgeon telling his licensing authority, I have a license, without proving it is not enough.
You're not the licensing authority, so it doesn't matter.
We have prima facie evidence here that you don't have an oath of office or bonding. And the Constitution, you say you have an oath of office, well, that means you swore to uphold the Constitution. And the Constitution requires you to have an oath of office timely filed. And RCW Title 42 says if you don't have it timely filed, you're not lawfully in office. That means that you can't preside over this hearing.
And to the extent you want an answer right now, I'm denying that motion. If you want to file something in writing that goes into that in more detail and provides some kind of evidence that I don't have authority, you're able to do that. I don't know when you made your public records request. It might have been before I took my oath of office, but we're out of time for your arguments.
How do you spell your name?
S-T-I.
S-T-I.
L-L.
L-L.
W-E.
W-E.
L-L.
L-L.
First name Jacob with a C.
Okay. I'm going to not participate in an unlawful hearing. So I'm going to go over to the clerk's office and try to get your oath of office and bond. And if they have it, I'll be back here and let's proceed. I'm actually eager to do so.
Well, we're going to have to file a motion. We're not going to probably be here anymore when we come back. We close up at noon.
You don't operate after lunchtime at all?
No, the calendar is going to end at noon. So if you find something, you can file a motion, but we're not going to stay open just so you can go do your public records.
Okay, well, I came here at 9 o'clock because I thought things would start then, and I had to endure watching all this.
So we're out of time at this point.
So that's what I'm going to do, because I'm not going to participate in an unfair hearing where there's no jurisdiction. I will file another motion.
Final comments here, because we got to move on.
Okay, let me pause this real quick. Judges like this, I don't have a problem really with a judge like this, or like yesterday we watched, and it was basically the judge telling the sovereign citizen, you're dumb for making that argument, move on because that's irrelevant. This judge isn't being as like tough about it, but he's still kind of saying you're not there. I have a problem with the It was actually this guy in this courtroom. It was a newer female judge who genuinely didn't. It was probably her first time hearing this type of argument. And she just looked out of her depth while trying to combat this, to the point where she went and got like the head judge or whoever had more seniority than her to come and talk to this guy. And that's the type of judge that I'm just like, what are you doing? You're a judge. You should be able to say, hey, I was a lawyer before I was a judge. What you're saying is just wrong. And she just let him just keep going and going and going. That's the type of judge that I don't like. I'm okay if they play with him a little bit, like yesterday's judge, where he let him say some stuff and he goes, well, actually, the definition is this, so you're wrong. I love those judges, but some judges just shouldn't be judges.
My final comments are this. We're going to assume that you don't have an oath of office timely filed or bonding, so you can't proceed over this hearing.
You can
It's
go get
simple.
evidence of that. You can come back, but until then, unless the prosecutor has anything to say.
Okay, so then since I object,
Sir, I'm moving it over to the prosecutor.
so since I'm
Sir.
wait, I have a right to make my motions. I have a
You
right to
have.
argue my motions.
Sir.
I brought this hearing.
I understand.
not the
We're going to
prosecutor.
move on.
I brought this hearing, not the prosecutor.
We're going to move on.
So I'm going to ask you to recuse yourself since you're not well.
All right, well, if there's been a request for recusal, perhaps I won't be here at the next hearing, but that's going to be it for today, okay? Free to go.
Yeah, he talked himself out of his motions hearing. Instead of talking about the motions he filed or motions he wanted to file, he wanted to talk about the judge's oath of office. And he wanted to start reading his Freedom of Information Act request or whatever. And it's like, none of that matters. You are here for a motions hearing. Let's talk about the motions. And instead he wanted to talk about X, Y, and Z. I don't know what's the rest of these 3 minutes, so here we go.
Well, sir, we're also here set for trial confirmation. You have a jury trial set.
I haven't even entered the plea yet.
Well, you don't have, I mean, the state is moving forward. Probable cause has been found. You've elected to represent yourself against.
I am myself. I don't represent myself. I am myself.
Well, are you ready to proceed to trial on November 17th?
First, I have to be advised of the nature and cause of action and enter a plea. And I have to verify that the judge, which keeps rotating, is lawfully in office. I mean, I'm not trying to throw monkey wrenches in this or anything or give you a hard time. I'm just trying to require due process.
That's exactly what you're trying to
You
do.
were arraigned on June 26th, 2023. Determination of probable cause was found.
Your Honor, just to,
Response
Well,
of
you
not
said I'm free to
guilty.
leave and you're not lawfully in office, so I'm going to leave.
well, Your Honor, if the defendant's going to walk out, I would request a bench warrant be issued if he's just going to walk out of his own trial confirmation.
All right, sir, are you here with him? Is that the two of you speaking?
Hard to hear.
I was asking if the two of you were here together.
I can't hear.
Were you here with Mr. Blatt?
I don't have a case here.
Okay, were you here with Mr. Blatt, who was just up here?
I can't really hear you. I'm getting a hearing aid.
Why are you here?
But I haven't had all the tests yet.
Okay. Why are you here in court today?
Oh, I'm just here to observe.
With Mr. Blatt?
Very interesting.
Okay.
I watched the body language.
Okay.
I watched the behavior panel on YouTube, and I'm watching this video to watch the body language.
All right. Thank
Very
you, sir.
interesting.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Can I go
You're free to
now?
go. Yes.
Okay.
All right.
The prosecutor's spot on, hey, since he just walked out, can we get a bench warrant? That would solve all of this. This would get this done so much quicker. Kim Blandino got his passport back. You mean the passport to the Kingdom of Israel? A place that doesn't exist and hasn't existed for thousands of years? That's wild to me that he would be able to get a knowingly false document like that back. What was I going to talk about? Court. I'm going to talk about Kentucky court because that's how I've seen it labeled. So in Kentucky court, they have this time and day for traffic. this time and day for felonies, this time and day for misdemeanor, whatever's. So they have it set up that way. So more than likely, Thurston County has the docket set up in the morning for all traffic and nonsensical shit like that. Driving on an expired license, suspended license, that would fall under traffic. So when the judge said at 12 o'clock, we're done with this docket, more than likely, you have two courts. You have court in the morning, lunch, court in the afternoon. More than likely, afternoon court is something completely different. And they're not just going to let this guy walk back in, Conor McGregor style, you know what I'm saying? And just go, well, I'm here now. Can we do court again? Because no, it's something, we've got domestic violence all day. This is domestic violence court. And you're in traffic court. We're not going to bring traffic court to domestic violence court.
So the request is a bench warrant for, I don't know if I can issue a bench warrant for failure to appear. If he doesn't show up for the jury trial,
Okay.
I think at that point, there might be grounds, but
So then I guess the state would just ask to keep the trial dates and proceed from there. And Your Honor, I believe you are clear, but just for the record, I know there's been a lot of talks about public records today. If we could just have a ruling on the defendant's motion today.
Yes, to the extent I wasn't clear, I'm denying the defendant's motions to dismiss all of that have been filed. And trial appears to have been confirmed. There's no unequivocal suggestion to the contrary. So we'll keep the jury trial dates as currently set.
All right, guys, that is it. That's all we got. Let me stop screen sharing. There we go. Yeah, judges don't like... Yes, and I don't understand why people like this constantly just walk into court expecting, oh, the court is going to coddle me and treat me like a toddler and they're going to let me do whatever I want. Like, I can't fathom that. Because it seems like a really easy thing here. Hey, you're here for a suspended license. Let's take care of the suspended license, then we can talk about something else. But still here, I don't think anything he said had to do with his license. No motion he filed had to do with his license. Ryan, if your friend went to court, I would totally cover it. Yeah, Gregory, I haven't seen any, like I've had a, shocker, KFAR had a bad experience with an officer in Kentucky. I don't like Louisville. I got kind of a sketchy speeding ticket. I thought it was sketchy. But yeah, I haven't seen any bad ones. I've seen some bad individuals that live in Indiana that have come to Kentucky. I've seen those people, but I haven't seen any like terrible officers. Yeah, I genuinely wish they would have just been like, oh, cool, you just walked out of court in the middle of a hearing. Okay, cool. Contempt of court, bench warrant, whatever. I know the video that I just covered from Judge Simpson, that's why I was 2 minutes late to this video or this live stream. Judge Simpson had a guy that he said, hey, next hearing be in person. If you're going to say all this nonsense, Mr. Sovereign Citizen, you're going to say it to my face. Show up in court. Shocker, he showed up via Zoom and he said, okay, cool. You now have a bench warrant. Turn yourself in, and then we can have this conversation in court. Most judges are fake? Like AI fake? What are we talking about here? I've got some time. I'll answer questions. Most judges are fake. What judges? All the judges that I've seen have been real people. No, they didn't break my window in Louisville. It was one of those weird things where the highway goes from 70 to 55 and then back up to 70 like 2 seconds later. And he's like, you were speeding. And I'm like, the sign that says 55 is 20 feet behind me. What are you talking about? But guess what? I paid it. I don't know, Gregory. I've seen Kentucky seems pretty squared away to me. I've been through Kentucky many, many times in my life. They seem pretty, for the most part, squared away. Now, I could name some states where not necessarily the judges are messed up, but the prosecutors are messed up. The one for, let me get the county because I'm pretty sure that's where it is. Let's see here. I believe it's an Oakland County prosecutor I currently have a problem with because 6 people tried to break into a guy's garage. He shot one of them, and now they're trying to bring him up on charges. I don't like that. Which one's Judge Bryant? I know there's one judge from Michigan that's like overly emotional about everything. That might be Judge Bryant. I don't not like her. She's just seems like everything gets under her skin. Whichever one is currently bringing the charges against that guy who shot one of the fools who broke into his house or his garage, whoever that prosecutor is should be disbarred and should be living under a bridge with Dirty Mike and the boys for the rest of their lives. Yeah, I was an adult and paid my ticket. All right. Oh, that's it. That's that, guys. I have a video that just came out on my third channel if somebody wants to drop the link to that. I had a video for, what's it called? What am I drawing a blank? Video out for members on the main channel. That's out as of 12/32. Any more stalker messages? I'll check for you right now in real time. Let's see here. Loading. Mentions. 4 hours ago. Yes, 4 hours ago. He has tagged me in something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 30. Let's just do 36 times in 4 days. But yeah. I think I'm going to begin drinking at 11. So do with that information what you will. All right. That's the video, guys. I will see you maybe at 5 p.m. when my video comes out, but that's it. All right, everybody go do